The box can be in front of the blue line. You can't be in front of the blue line. Got it?
Hey everybody, Kent Marts here. Good Monday afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you. Heck, there's some people, it's Tuesday morning. Thank you for joining us today on the social media warm-up for our Amazon live broadcast. Today is How Do You Know? And today we're going to start off with a pair of binoculars. Now this is a great pair of binoculars. These are colorful, obviously. They're 6x21, 6 power eyepieces, 21 millimeter objective lenses. Has glass lenses, an adjustable diopter so you can focus on your left eye and then fine tune it for your right eye so both eyes are in focus. And this is a pair of kids binoculars. Now, these things are very affordable and these are real binoculars. I am advocating if you've got a kid in your life and you want to do some birding or go out and look at butterflies or astronomy, whatever, get a pair of these for yourself and get a pair for that kid in your life and go out and use the same binoculars they're using so you're seeing the same things so you can describe how far away things are and things like that. These are the Bresser Kids Specialized Binoculars. Comes with a neck strap, real handy neck strap, has safety clips on it so if they get pulled on real hard, if the kid or you get hung up on something, it's going to pop off and not strangle you or hook you up on something. It's nice and a safety feature here. Made out of metal. The yellow is sort of a rubberized material. The red is a metal. Very good pair of binoculars here, especially for them. They're not waterproof, so you don't want to take them swimming or anything. But I really like this pair of Bresser 6x21 kids binoculars. Now we're going to roll on into something else. This is a new product for us. It's over there, out there on our website, explorescientific.com. It's also over on our Amazon page, and this is a warm-up for that broadcast. This is the Star Maker video kit. I'm unpacking it, as you can see. I didn't have it ready to go. I forgot to take it out of the box. And there we go. And we'll just make the box go away. Hey, this thing is charged up and ready to go. How about that? We can spin this around here with the 300 or 270 degree camera. This is a fantastic device. You can see it right there. And you can see my face right there so you can see what you're getting in the shot. Just like that. This is a really cool device. It's for ages 8 and up. It's so kids can learn, and adults can use this too, how to, let me turn it off, figure out where the off button is, there we go. It's a great little 1080p HD camera. Has an 1.25 inch screen so you can see it. Has a built-in microphone, built-in camera. There's my first sneeze. We'll get a couple more before the day is over with. Spin this around so you can see it a little bit, the front of it. You can put on an external microphone. It's got face detection, so it'll focus on the faces in it. You can record up to an hour and a half or more of video. It'll also run for an hour and a half on one charge. It comes with a handy tripod that also serves as you can raise it up, right? Or you can, I'm going to lower it a little bit, or you can use it as a selfie stick, right? There you go. You can use it as a selfie stick. So, you got some young ones in your life, or you want to play with making video on an affordable platform, this is the route to do it. A really handy tripod, a 1080p HD camera. It comes with a 16 gigabyte card, and it goes up to 64 gigabyte. And I'm going to make sure that's 16 gigabyte. Now, last time I took this out, it shot across the studio, but I managed to get it out. Yes, it's an 8 gigabyte card. Excuse me, an 8 gigabyte card. Sorry about that mistake. I'm going to make sure I get it in there. I'm going to cover my hand because, boy, it shot out. We found it, though. It comes with a nice light you can turn on so you can do a bright light, a dim light, or a strobe light effect right there on this handy magnetic base sign or magnetic base. You can also, little screw hole, you can mount it on a wall, and look at that. It's got a good enough magnet. It will hold it in place just like that. Comes with a USB cable so that you can charge the camera with this, or you can plug this in and download your video segments without taking out the SD card. Or you can put the SD card in a computer and take it out that way. Also comes with a clapboard, so you can create, write down the scenes that you're going to video record, get it at the very start of the video. That makes it easier to locate the scenes that you want to get, and when you're ready to start editing, you can find them easier. Now, this does not come with an editing program. You're going to have to pick a editing program on the computer you're going to use and download it, but it allows you to do regular, just like they do in the real movies. Action, and off you go. It also comes with a green screen, blue screen, so you can play with chroma screen. Chroma screen is where you take the background that is a uniform color, in this case blue or green, and you can put whatever you want to back there. Magic swirls, paisley, video from something else. This allows you kids to start working on their video editing, recording, and storytelling skills. We all know how important video has become, and this gives your kids a jump start on learning the skills they're going to need that's going to be important for the rest of their lives as they do video on their social media platform of choice in the future. Who knows what's going to come around when 8 or 10-year-old is 14, 15, 16. Hard to say what platform they're going to be on, but if they want to get a great start, this is a great way to do it. The Star Maker Video Kit comes with everything you need to get started, including a camera, tripod that serves as a selfie stick, the 8 gigabyte card that'll get you up to more than an hour and a half of video, the camera that runs on a hour and a half on a full charge, the camera head swivels so you can change the angle and still see what's on the 1.3-inch screen, the video clapboard, the light, USB cable, and the chroma screen. So that is the Star Maker Video Kit, a new product from us. It's been selling well, and I expect it to be a really popular item. If you want to be the hero gift giver, come a birthday or Christmas, by golly, I think this will be the ticket to make you the hero gift giver. So, moving along, let's talk about microscopes a little bit.
So, Kent.
So, Paul.
I forgot because I'm trying to fix the 24-hour feed.
Did you break it?
No,
You
There's
broke it.
always something
You broke
that
it.
the instructions don't tell you.
You broke it.
No, it's not broken. It's not broken.
It's just not working.
I know.
Hey, Noah,
I
can you
don't
come get the
understand
monitor up
why.
for
It
me,
doesn't
please?
make any sense.
So are we not streaming 24/7 right now?
Well, we've been streaming all weekend, but I'm trying to put a piece of media in there that lets me stream 36 hours to 72 hours worth of content. So you don't have to watch the same thing twice. Right? Which would be nice.
Unless you want to stay up for 3 days and do it.
Yeah, I'm not here, so. But I shot new video for the
Star
thing.
Maker.
The Star Maker. And the V8 engine.
And the V8 engine.
If I can get it to pull up.
Well,
everything is slow, man.
Well, it's Monday.
I don't know what
the weekend. The gerbils is still overhung from their long weekend. So I'm going to move on. While you're over there banging away.
Oh, it's okay. What's the number on that thing that you got there?
On the Star Maker?
No, the thing in your hand.
The Explorer 1 20x binocular microscope. No idea what the SKU is.
You're supposed to know these things.
No idea, my friend.
Well, why not?
Because I just don't have this SKU memorized. That's why.
I mean, there might be some people watching. I can't tell if there's anybody watching, though. I guess we got 3, 4 people watching right now. They're not saying anything.
Hey, say something. Paul doesn't believe you're out there. He thinks you're bots.
Bots?
Not really. All right, so this is the Explorer 1 binocular microscope. It's 20 power. So Paul's got some pictures that we took through one of the eyepieces showing a penny and a bug and some other stuff. The penny really gives you an idea of what 20 power looks like.
You always ask for the penny, and you know all I have is the bee.
You have the penny. You've used the penny, Paul.
I've been looking for it. You're going to have to send it to me again.
It's Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln?
Yes, absolutely. He's a cool looking babe when he's in copper.
Yeah.
It's his head fills up the eyepiece. Sir?
You know I don't have it.
You have
it
it.
Like 3 or 4 weeks.
You have it. You just can't find it in your hodgepodge, jumbled up,
you want to come and try to do this?
Massive database of files in your computer system.
I only have like 10 terabytes over here.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
I can get you the bee, though. The bee.
So that's a bumblebee / carpenter bee. I think it's probably a carpenter bee.
I think it's more interesting than the penny.
Yeah,
myself.
but nobody knows. You can't get a scale for the size of what the magnification does.
Everybody knows what a bee is.
No, it's not a bee.
Bumblebee bee?
It's a carpenter bee.
It's
or a bumblebee.
Bumblebee bee.
Right, but still, much easier to show an American penny so they can
What if they're
see.
not American?
Well, they still have an idea of what size it is.
This is kind of stuff you do to me, you know.
Oh, I know, absolutely. So, anyway.
So Nancy M. says, howdy.
Howdy?
Howdy.
She says, howdy?
Howdy.
Who was it?
Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Thanks for the howdy. So, this microscope is a little different than a lot of microscopes, and one we're actually going to look at. This does not have light that shines up through specimens, and you see very, very, very narrow slices of that, so you can see all the little intricate pieces in the inside of it. No, this microscope has light that shines down, reflects off of the object, and then back into the microscope. As you can see, there's a bee. It also comes with this sample of rocks that you can look at, which amazingly, the rocks under magnification look pretty cool. You can see things in the magnification that you can't see when you're just looking at it with your eyes. It's pretty cool. Also comes with a bunch of prepared slides.
Why don't you like the bee?
I didn't say I took the picture of the bee. I think the bee's fine. I just think the American penny gives them...
You got something against bees?
No, I have something against $half. You don't have against $half? They're not whole dollars. So, comes with a sample of glass slides, human sperm, fly head, a bunch of other stuff. The fly head is actually a whole stinking fly. You won't be able to see it, but under the microscope, Man, it's pretty cool looking. Now, you could use these on a standard microscope where you have, light coming up through it, but these are thick specimens. But the cool part about it is you can see in 3 dimensions because you're using your eye. And it's just, when you go and see the veins and the limbs, you can see the squished body. You can see the mouth parts hanging out there. You can see hairs. Just a fantastic little microscope. I would have loved to have had this microscope when I was, say, hey, Annie.
Hello.
Come on, join us, will you? Annie just walked in the studio, and as most of you know that are regulars, when you watch the show and you walk through, you got to come up here on the screen. Hey, Annie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Sitting here talking about microscopes.
Yeah, Lucy and I play with this all the time. Have you looked at these rocks?
Oh, they're cool, aren't they?
They're so cool.
Yeah. They look completely different under a microscope.
This one right here was really hard to see because it's white. So
Put it in there. Let me take a look at it.
It was really, really, well, you got to turn off the light. It was really difficult to see.
What do I have to turn off the light for?
Because the lights in the studio
Because
are
the
too
lights
bright.
in the studio are too bright.
It is indeed very
It is
difficult to see.
It's very difficult to see.
I'm going to go to a flat
Oh my gosh, I
side.
forgot I had my sunglasses on. Sorry. I'd look like I just came in. from
Ow.
outside. Here, let me bounce it for you. Boop, boop, boop.
No, you can see if you get the flat side. Here's a flat side.
It's pretty cool. Now, then turn the lights on because it makes it, you can like see a little bit of like luminescence or something. I don't know what you call it. But
Fluorescence. Look at that. That is very cool.
Does the floor have essence?
I know, it's like rainbow colored. Isn't that so cool?
You got your phone on you?
No,
We're trying to take a picture real quick.
you can't take a picture. I don't have my phone. Where's your phone?
On my desk.
No. Do you want me to go get my phone so you can take a picture of it?
Yeah, let's try it.
I will be back.
So, I would have loved to have had this microscope when I was a teenager because it's just so very cool, right? This is the different colors of light that you can see in here. It's like the rock turns the lights into a rainbow. I'm trying to get a hold of it and get it moved. Boy, there it is. Because you can't see your fingers. And when we turn on the light for the microscope, it basically just disappears because we're looking at such bright lights in the studio. And I'll be back with my phone, and I will take a picture, and then we'll send it to Paul via the magic of the internet. And then through the wonders of all his little switches and everything, he will be able to show you what this looks like. He'll be able to say, take a picture live and do this live. Never thought about this before. But anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. Give us a shout out. We would love to see you. Give us a hello so we can give you a hello back. That's not my phone. God, you're killing me.
I said, do you want me to go get my phone?
Okay, use that eyepiece because that's the one I've got in focus.
Listen, lights, camera, action.
That's the one I've got in focus. So I'm going to hold. Let me hold it,
I'm too short.
and I
I'm
want
too
you.
short.
No, you don't touch the table.
Okay, hang on.
Hang on. Let me.
No, it's not going to work.
Yes, it is.
Why don't you put a telescope camera?
Tap it. Take a picture. Tap it. Focus it. There we go. Ooh.
Oh gosh, is that me?
No, that's me.
Oh gosh.
It's hard. There it is. There it is.
Great television, by
Tap
the
it
way.
in the middle. Focus it. And then
This
send
is
it.
how you take a photo with a microscope.
Tap it again. Hang on.
You keep getting in the way.
I'm not in the way. It's the
It's really hard when my phone is really dirty.
All right, send one of those to Paul. Pick one that looks good and send it to Paulie.
Send it to Polly.
Paulie.
Oh, that is nice.
Let me see it. Yeah, so maybe blow it up a little bit, stretch it, and then
Just
take
send
a
it to me.
screenshot.
Don't do anything to it. Just send it to me. Let
Professional
me
says
do
don't
that.
touch it.
All right, we got to do what the boss says until we don't.
Do what I say.
So So how did you get that open so easy? I couldn't get these open last time.
I'm a professional.
Yeah.
There we go. I got it. I gotched it. All right, so anyway, we'll get that picture up in a few minutes. Going to move along to another microscope. Here we go. We're going to switch, and we'll come back and show you what. We'll switch back. When we go to Amazon Live, we'll have it up on Amazon Live. Ay, 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 caramba. So, here we go. This is the Discovery 400X to 900X microscope. I think it's 400, 100X to 900X microscope. As you can see, it comes with a nice hard-sided keeper case in it. The microscope, a hatchery, not for chickens, but shrimp. And not shrimp, but brine shrimp. Sir?
Can you get chickens that small?
Those would be ultra bantams or toy bantams or something. No, you can't get chickens that small. Hey, there's Daniel. Come on over here, Daniel.
Daniel. He ain't going to do it,
He looked
man.
at me like, you're crazy, Kent.
He ain't going to do it, man.
Has a petri dish, a sample maker right here, prepared slides, beakers, tools to manipulate your samples, red dye, blue dye. Now, I'll tell you this, that red dye and blue dye, that's food grade dye, not poisonous. If your kid drinks it, all it's going to do is turn their mouth and tongue blue or red, and if they drink it together, it's going to make brown or purple, one or the other. Has sea salt and brine shrimp eggs. Brine shrimp, I always saw those in like Boys Life magazine and places like that, known as monkeys. Now they're just brine shrimp.
So I've always tried to see the monkeys, but it never could. They don't even look like monkeys. Why did they come up with that?
It's just marketing, my friend. Marketing. You know, which monkey did you like?
None.
Are the monkeys a real rock group? Should they be in the
No.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
They are not a real band.
But they were. They wrote their own songs and played their own instruments.
No.
Just because they were
no.
formed for TV doesn't mean they're not a real band.
No.
Yeah, so you're rock and roll pure. So Elvis Presley, he wasn't a band.
No, he was a man.
But Peter Tork was a man. Wrote songs, sang them, played them. The Monkees was a rock
The
band.
Monkees, everything you heard was a session musician.
No, they toured.
They toured, but when you listen to them on the record, or if you listen to them
Paul,
the TV show, those were session musicians.
Glenn Campbell played on hundreds of #1 hits.
Yes, so did Willie Nelson.
Have you ever seen the documentary, The Session? What's it called? About Testoro. His son did it. About the Wrecking Crew. Bands would come in and go, we need to play our own songs. They're going, you can't do this. And they would watch guys like Glenn Campbell and all those guys who are on the Wrecking Crew do their work and then go, yeah, I can't do that. Those people were good musicians, but they didn't have the skills that the Wrecking Crew had. Like the Beach Boys, for instance. The Beach Boys didn't record some of their own music. They used session musicians. That doesn't mean they don't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but the Monkees do. The Sea Monkeys may not, but the Monkees, I believe. Daniel, should the Monkees be in the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
He doesn't know who they are.
Do you know who they are, Daniel? He doesn't know who the Monkees are, so he can't vote. If you don't know, you can't vote.
I was a baby. You're lucky I remember it at all.
You were a wee little tyke. So
No,
this is the Discovery 900X microscope. This is a microscope just like you think about a microscope being. You take a slide. Where did the case go? Oh, I set it down. You take one of the prepared slides.
The person to ask about the Monkees is Noah. He's like, no, leave me alone.
The Monkees had a huge influence on society, therefore they deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the influence they had on society.
John Lee Hooker needs to be in there then, too.
You can make that good argument. So, I have a prepared slide. This is Hydrilla verticillata leaf. I pronounced that middle word wrong.
Not correct.
Verticillata. Verticillata.
See, osmosis is crazy.
So here we go.
Osmosis says
I'm not
monkeys
seeing
were the
anything
best of the British invasion.
Say again. What do you say?
You're going to make me say that again? It's
Yes.
heresy. It's
Say it
heresy. Osmosis 007
Maybe.
says the monkeys were the best of the British invasion.
Say, hey, we're the monkeys.
We don't even make our own music.
They did.
No.
They did. Look it up. So here we go. Here we go. Talking about this microscope for just a wee little bit. What time is it, Paul?
We are going on Amazon in like a minute.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to do a quick reset. We will come back and
just gonna
redo what I just did.
You did done?
What I did
I was
done.
just going to change the
We'll
thing.
start over.
So we need... How do you know?
So, how do you know? Back in a minute, folks.
Oh, Kent. Kent.
No, Jamie Heineman. Hello, everybody.
Now,
I think
you're
that
on.
guy in the warm-up that punches the screen looks a lot like Jamie Heineman
if he was
from-
like Indian,
from Mythbusters, one of the
If he was
cool
Indian,
science
maybe.
shows. That guy's not Indian?
yeah, he was.
Negative.
Let's see. Hang on. We have to look at it again.
You're talking about subcontinental Asian Indian, not
American
Native
Indian, no.
American. Not Native American.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening, Paul.
I'm working on it.
Takes you so long to do things,
Well-
Paul. It's crazy. So, hey, while he's doing that, hi,
All right.
everybody. Welcome
Let's
to...
change then. You come over here and run the stuff.
And I was born in the 80s, had a good upbringing. I graduated college in the 80s, and I had a good upbringing as well.
I was listening to Molly Hatchet. Thank you very much.
I had no problem with you listening to Molly Hatchet. You're welcome very much. So, he's getting a picture of that fella. So, here we go.
All right.
Today is Monday,
go?
which makes it How Do You Know Monday. And how do you know what time it is? Well, you use a clock, of course. And what better clock to use than...
How do you tell what time to use a clock? Well, you could also use Siri these days.
You can use Siri these days, but Siri is
Hey
not
Siri, what time is it?
Siri may have a beautiful voice, but Siri does not hang up on your wall, though. Siri does not hang up on your wall, though, like this
I have
beautiful
Siri.
Explorer Scientific analog clock. Well, it may be an analog clock. It also sets its time automatically. It's an atomic clock with WWVB, the federal government's broadcast that's good for setting atomic clock devices in North America, including Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Over in your carousel today on Amazon Live, you can pick this up. Not sure of the price. It's a beautiful clock. If you're an Explorer Scientific fan, what way to better celebrate than putting this clock
Pudding?
in your
Did you say pudding?
man cave, office, or whatever. That way, you can always answer the question, how do we know what time it is? Well, I'm going to look at the $39.95 retail Explorer Scientific clock. Very fantastic looking thing.
On there too now. If you look, that will be up for a while.
Ooh, there's a coupon where on Amazon Live?
Yeah, let's see where the
There's a coupon on Amazon Live. How about that?
yeah.
So go to the carousel. How do you get to it, Noah?
Go to the carousel. You click on the item, the clock, and once you go there and look at the buying
Woohoo, sweet. So you go to the carousel, you click on the item, go to the cart, and it gives you see all buying options, and click on it, and there you go. It comes
I
up
guess
with
he's not Indian.
save
He's
an
just
extra
got
20%.
that tunic on.
Save an extra 20% by clicking on the coupon and adding it to the cart that way. So you can save 20% on everything, or just selected items?
that item.
Just that item. Okay, very good. Just that item. So shifting gears to a new item Explore Scientific has come out with. This is the Star Maker Video Kit. The heart of the system is this nice, compact, yet very powerful digital camera. This is produces video in 1080p HD. It comes with an 8 gigabyte card that will hold more than an hour and a half of video. That's a lot of video. It'll take up to a 64 gig card. Now that's a lot of video right there. It has a nice 1.3 inch screen. I can make it come on real quick. Hit the correct button, and there we go. It's the Explore One. This camera has a swivel head, so it swings around backwards. And now, I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see me there, Paul, on that little 1.3 inch screen? Is that visible?
Hang on.
Hang on. Paul's going to maybe do a digital zoom right there. There you go.
You're
Hi,
squished.
everybody. Yeah, I'm squished. There you can see it. See, it's me waving, not there. Hey, great little camera. So if you're wanting and have to learn how to do some video and get started, you can use the Star Maker Video Kit. It's for ages 8 and up. Comes with a tripod, as you can see, that the camera mounts on, or will fit in your pocket, and you can use it handheld. The tripod extends up to 23 inches. And here's something cool. You can turn it into a selfie stick right there. Now I'm doing the selfie stick as we speak right there. Pretty cool. I'm going to turn it off just to save the batteries. It also is a camera. It takes, I believe, up to 6 different sizes of pictures. When you're shooting video, it has face tracking technology. The head doesn't move, but it keeps the face in focus, so it can ID faces as well. Comes with, put this back down, comes with nice little light that's magnetic, sticks well to the base, so you can put it on a table and use it to provide a studio light. If you need some light, you can hang it on a wall and rotate it so it shows the light where you want it. It has a bright mode, a dim mode, and a strobe light effect right there. So cool. Also comes with a USB cable, so you can hook the device straight up to your computer to pull the recorded video out of the SD card, or you can remove the SD card, put it in your card reader. Once in your computer, you're going to use your favorite editing program. This does not come with an editing program to edit your video into your story. Now, it also comes with a handy clapboard so you can action when you start a recording. Easy to use, some chalk to write information on the clapboard so that you can set the scene, record this at the very start of your scene, so it makes it easier to find your video when you get into editing and start going through and picking out the ones you want. You know what the scenes are, right? Easy to start and stop with the button on front. This also comes with a chroma screen. It's a blue-green chroma screen, blue on one side, green on the other, right here. So what's chroma screen? It allows you to put in artificial backgrounds. If you want to put in a paisley background or a picture of Paul back there acting like, what would he act like? A director. That's what, acting like a director back in the background, and you work in front of him on the green screen.
Yes, I just act like a
You
director.
can do that. It's a cool technique that you can. Well, you're not a monkey or a director, or, yeah, you're a director, but you're not a monkey. So you can connect. You can learn to use the chroma background to add special effects, just like the people do on TV. If you watch the weatherman, also a lot weather forecasters, the meteorologists, don't mean to say weathermen.
Weather
and
forecast.
additionally, a lot of these videos you see where people are doing tricks and stuff, and they're using green screen and editing in the background so you don't see what's really going on in a lot of those videos. So this is the Star Maker video kit from Explore One, an Explore Scientific brand. If you want to be a hero gift giver this year and you've got somebody that's interested in doing this, right here's the ticket to being the hero gift giver in your family. So shifting to microscopes a little bit now. This is the Explore One 20 power binocular microscope. Paul, did you get that picture from Annie we took a little while ago?
She has not sent it to me that I can see. No. She has not sent it to me.
Well,
It is not my fault. Do
why
not
don't you
try and blame me.
I'll switch to the other one, and why don't you Skype her or text her and ask her to send that, or
Is
get
that
up
your
and go
cup
ask
or
her.
is that her cup?
Because I want to see that, sir. I want our customers to see that beautiful fluorescent crystal in there. This is the Discovery 900 power, 900X biologic microscope. As you can see, it comes with this nice hard case with a clear plastic cover that allows you to keep all of your kit together. Now here's the heart of the system, the microscope. We're going to talk about it in a couple of minutes. Comes with a hatchery so you can hatch out brine shrimp. Hey Noah, would you go ask Annie to send that picture to Paul ASAP, please?
Windows
yes.
just crashed. Great. Wonderful. Love it.
Are we up still?
No, we're still going.
Okay, we're
Just-
still going. So
Windows
you can
crashed.
make your own slides, very thin slices of stuff, using the slip covers and the blank slides that are in here. As a petri dish, comes with blue and green dye. And I'll tell you right now, that blue and green dye is food grade dye. If your kid drinks it, their tongue is just, and mouth is going to be blue or red, or if they're doing both, it's going to be probably brown or purple, one or the other. But I can tell you, things may come out blue and red too. So there you go.
What?
Salt crystals, so you can do sea salt experiments and grow salt crystals, and the ever popular brine shrimp. I knew them as sea monkeys from reading the Boys Life magazine. You can hatch out
And
these
this
brine
is
shrimp
where-
and watch their life cycle. Sir?
This is where we all of a sudden went off into a tangent about the Monkees, the TV show.
Yes, the monkeys on the TV show. Paul asked what the monkeys were, and I said they're a rock band from the 60s, a pop rock band that should be in the Hall of
I
Fame.
didn't
but
ask
isn't.
what the monkeys
We-
were.
we
I said, are
argued.
those monkeys? They don't look like monkeys.
They certainly don't look like Peter Tork,
God.
but they're brine shrimp. They can survive for decades in a state of dryness, and sounds sort of Irish or something there, or they
Ooh,
can
yucky.
get wet and come to life and go through their life cycle. Comes with some tweezers, a couple of vials, a beaker, some probing tools. And let's now talk about the heart of the system, the microscope itself. So the microscope can go from 100 to 400 to 800 power, and that happens by turning the turret right here. If you look, there's a short lens, a medium lens, and a long lens. The short lens is the lowest magnification. When you're going to focus on this, always start out with the lowest power magnification, whether it's a telescope or a binocular or anything else. Start out with the lowest power you can. That makes it easier to find.
I don't think these pictures turned out.
There was one of them that looked real good.
No.
That's why you need to put them in Photoshop and sharpen them and deal with the colors.
I could do all that here, and it's not.
Well, we'll go on if you don't come up with one. Anyway, so how this works is you have a slide, really thin piece of biologic material. In this case, it's the piece of a water plant, right? A hydrilla verticillata. I know I'm pronouncing the second word
Vermicelli.
wrong. It's the best I can do. So it goes into the stage,
Push it
which is
forward about
where
4
the
inches.
things go, and there's a hole in there that light
Push
comes
it
up
forward
through.
about 4 inches. Ah.
that
Keep
good?
going.
Huh?
Keep going.
Okay, so it comes with an LED that turns on, and spin this around. When you rotate it to up, the LED comes on. So I'm going to put the LED so it's shining the light up through it. I'm going to back up a little bit so I can focus on it. And now I'm going to focus the microscope all the way down so I know it's all the way close. From experience, I know that this comes into focus extremely quickly, right? Very, very quickly. What happened? Turned the light off.
Battery's dead.
No, I just turned it off.
Just use the lights in the room, Kent.
And so
Use the mirror.
I can now
It has a mirror on it
start
just for this occasion.
focusing. Let's just see if the mirror's any brighter.
Oh, yeah. Even I can tell.
No, not.
Yeah, you're not
different.
even close to it. You had it a second ago.
No, I can see it.
There. No, go back the other way. There it is. Oh,
You're not looking at the microscope, knucklehead.
yeah, but I can see where the mirror is
Whoopsie.
reflecting on.
Luckily, these are nice plastic slides, so when I just pushed it open and couldn't see what I was doing because they had my glasses on, didn't break anything, right? It's always good not to break stuff. So, going to go something not quite as thick. This is red, and so I'm going to start looking for red, 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 red. Get the light on. There we go. Now then I'm just going to move the slide a little bit because I found it. I think the batteries may be dying in this. Wow. Pretty cool looking. So, looks like little prisms almost. These come to focus really quick, as in you barely start turning it and it gets into focus. And people oftentimes go right past it and they don't realize they're turning the knob too fast. Turn the knob really, really, really slowly. That will help you get it into focus. This is a great way to get into microscopes and learning about the different parts of cellular level plants and animal stuff. Once you have it in focus and the subject that you want centered up, you can turn the turret and go up to 100 power and then get it in focus, and then you can turn the turret again and go up to 1,000 power. 900 power. That gets you the highest power using the longest lens on the turret. Now, this also comes with a wheel right here that changes the color, and I'll show you what it looks like because I have one off of one that we took apart. For parts, it has a clear circle. You can see a green circle, a red circle, and a blue circle.
Got to lower it a little.
Ah, sorry.
And back it up a touch. There you go.
So you have a blank circle, a green circle right here.
Empty circle.
Yeah, not blank. It's an empty circle, just white light. The green filter, the red filter, the blue filter, another empty circle, and then some much smaller holes if the light's too bright. What's the purpose of these color filters? The purpose of these color filters are when you change the color of the light going through your sample, your biologic sample, it changes the contrast and changes what you can see. It highlights other colors and takes out some colors so you can see different pieces of the cells as you're using the Discovery 900X biologic microscope. As it comes with 5 prepared slides and 7 blank slides, you can use those to make your own samples. It comes with a downloadable experiment guide that tells you how to execute growing the brine shrimp, growing the salt crystals, how to cut your own samples and dye samples and things like that. Gets you down to a really cool process of learning how a microscope works and becoming a junior biologist with this fantastic starter microscope right here. And let me turn the LED off. I think we're going to put new batteries in this because I think these batteries have been on a while. I didn't tell you, it tips like this so you can find, let me see if I can do this. I bet I can get some brighter light up in there. Tipping it way back like this. Let's see here. I'm going to look through. Let me go to the lowest eyepiece, because you always want to start, no matter what, with the lowest power eyepiece. And nope, not getting anything. Nothing. Nothing coming through. That's all
You
right.
want me to try it?
Nope, we're going to go on down the road and look at something else.
I always end up figuring it out when you guys don't.
I'm not worried about it. It comes with an LED. Put a battery in it. It's bright. It works well. This is dim. I'm going to say the battery's got left on. And you know what happens when that happens? Things die. All right, so let's talk about a pair of binoculars. I love these little binoculars. These are the Bresser 6x21 binoculars. It means they have a 6 power eyepiece on them and a 21 millimeter objective lens size. Now, these are colorful. They're fun colored. The orange or red is made out of metal. The yellow is sort of a rubberized gripping surface, comes with a neck strap. The glass elements in here, the lenses that make these work, are glass. They're not plastic. You can focus it for your left eye. It has a diopter, just like real binoculars, and I do that in air quotes because this is the Bresser Specialized Kids Binocular. It says kids, but I'm telling you, these are the real deal binoculars. I advocate, you got a kid in your life and you want to introduce them to birding or astronomy or learning how to use them for sports or whatever, buy a pair for your kid in your life and buy a pair for yourself and go out and use the same binoculars they're using. These are great binoculars over there. We got a question. Hi, Kent and Paul. That's from Tariq. Hello, Tariq. Scott is in the building, although he's tied up doing something all afternoon. I think he's getting ready, working on getting for the global star party tomorrow night. And got another question coming up. Aquilus started following. Hey, Aquilus, thank you very much for that. We appreciate it immensely. By following us, you get to see more of our great content. Tariq, I am saving to buy a cheap 152 scope from somewhere later next month, hopefully, but when I get a budget soon, I will buy a second 90mm triplet scope. Tariq, you gotta have goals, right? None of this is, inexpensive. Yes, for those. Tariq lives in the UAE, so when you live in certain parts of the world, it gets to be expensive sometimes to buy stuff.
We've got a question from Connor Bradley, but I'm holding it till we get to a particular section, which will help him with the answer.
Okay, which section do we want to get to?
Well, I'm looking at, it's a telescope question.
Oh, okay, all right.
So waiting on the telescope.
Oculus says, your channel is great. I love this. Thank you, Oculus.
Do you like us fighting?
Because
we just really just banter and kick each other with words.
This is a sales channel through Amazon, but we also love to do a lot of education and trying to get people to understand how things work and why things work. Yeah. I really enjoy doing that. Sir?
I got kicked off here once.
By who?
You.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You're getting ready to kicked off again, too, if you don't watch it, bub. All right, so if you're just watching us on Amazon Live, thank you for joining us. We're working in the astronomy, birding, educational toy section. We don't really have anybody else who's doing this. If you notice on the screen, my forehead looks red. That's because yesterday I went out picking wild blackberries and forgot to take a hat with me. And by the time I realized it, I didn't want to walk back to the truck, and I burned the top of my noggin just a little bit.
It's awful late in the season to pick wild blackberries.
No, they're just starting, man.
No, we've already collected all of ours.
There's tons of them up at my farm in Pea Ridge. There's tons of them. I mean, we collected 2 gallons.
Here you go.
2 gallons of blackberries. I have the scars on my arm from all the thorn pricks.
My dad used to have to fight the cows for them.
Listening to you two banter back and forth is like witnessing a Wisconsin Thanksgiving. Well, I guess happily, Osmosis 007, I have never witnessed a Wisconsin Thanksgiving. Probably that's a happy thing for me. So the specialized 6x21 binoculars from Bresser. Get yourself a pair. Get yourself a pair for your kid in your life. Go do astronomy. Go do birding, and get them happy. Most kids just want to spend time with you, right? Or they don't want to spend any time with you, one or the other. All right, so we're going to move into the telescope segment. This is the First Light Newtonian. First Light is a brand from Explore Scientific. First Light means, the first time you use a telescope, the first time you look through something, that's the first light for that telescope. This telescope brand was designed and promoted and really starts as a starter scopes for people, therefore it's First Light as well. So this is a 114 millimeter telescope, which means where the light goes in, which is right here, if I can get this off, take off that little, get stuck on there. That
I will make sure he gets all the questions when he's ready. Because one of the things that Kent doesn't like is me interrupting him as you look at him right now while I'm talking, telling you.
I'm looking for the comment. Normally you just wave your hands and point at your eyes and I know there's a comment coming.
Well, no, Tariq wants me to ask the question now, but I am letting you finish your spiel.
Ah, well, it's 114 millimeters in diameter. Paul, you got a question there, I hear.
Well, Tariq was not first.
I don't care which one you give me, Paulie.
Mr. Connor Bradley. Hi, I have an issue with my Bresser Messier 127i. The bottom of the scope hits the tripod legs at certain angles. Would an extension tube or peer fix this issue? It's on, and then it cuts off because it doesn't like that many characters.
So, Connor, my thoughts are typically when there's a leg strike, you simply need to move the telescope farther skyward. In other words, that way, so it's not so long. Leg strikes are not uncommon. Well, they're more uncommon than they used to be, but putting a pier on it introduces other problems as well. It would be, you may have to run into some balance issues if you move it that far forward and move it that way. Now it may not balance well. If it doesn't balance well, you start putting weight on the back end. I've seen people use bags of lead shot or steel shot. If there's a place where you can hook a set of, if it's a steel tube, you can set a magnet on it. There's all sorts of ways to add weight on the back side, on the eyepiece side, if that's where you're having trouble, Connor. So if you want to send us a picture of your rig, we'll be happy to take a look at that. You can contact us. The easiest way would be go to our Explore Scientific store and here on Amazon.com, click on Contact the Seller. Send the pictures to Noah, and he will get them for you. Kent, look at the telescope next to you. Do you have a similar cover cap for the reflector with the center hole? No, typically we don't, Tariq. That's called a field stop. You can make one yourself out of cardboard. They don't have to be perfectly round. They can be square. It doesn't matter. It's not going to make the stars square. The telescope is just going to be fine. This is a field stop, and what this is if you look at something real bright, you can just put it over, and I always make sure when I do this, see the little angles in there? Just make sure that it's between those legs of the spider that holds the secondary mirror, and voila, you've now cut the amount of light going to the telescope a whole bunch, but you don't know it because it looks perfectly fine in the eyepiece. It's a pretty cool effect. Also, never look at the sun with this telescope, it says. You know why not? You'll put your eye out. Here, I'm going to show you, though, a way to do it safely. I like the bickering. Please don't stop. Yeah, thanks, Egon. Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him, Egon. Don't encourage him.
What?
So, this telescope comes with a red dot finder, as well as a 25 millimeter super colossal eyepiece, a great eyepiece to get you started. Now this telescope is mounted on what's called an equatorial mount. There's also a alt-az mount, which I've got one over there. I'm not going to get it. It's, think left, right, up, and down. Real simple to use. However, the equatorial mount, once you learn to use it, is a whole lot more powerful. You have to get it polar aligned, which means this axis right here has to match the rotational axis of the Earth. How do you know what that is? Real simple. Figure out the latitude you live in. Where here in Northwest Arkansas, we're 36 degrees north. So there's a little scale on the side. I just put it at 36 degrees north and then point the telescope to the north. Egon, hi Kent. I tried to leave a good review with great pics of the new little 60 millimeter with the IXOS 100, and my Amazon posts have been blocked.
That's a Noah thing.
Noah, why would that be? Because he didn't buy it through Amazon, maybe?
No, he sent me a question through the Amazon contact center.
Okay, Egon, Noah's doing some research on it. He had sent him a message, and he's trying to figure out why that would be. Amazon, works hard to make sure that we have, that their reviews are legitimate. So it may be related to that.
Amazon bots are not nice people.
Yeah, when in doubt, they cut you out.
Yeah.
Osmosis 007. Another way to cut light is with a neutral density filter. Absolutely. Neutral density filters generally, get this out, will screw in to the eyepiece right here. This is an 1.25 inch eyepiece, meaning this is 1.25 inches across. You get a neutral density filter and just screw it in. Neutral density filters work well on really bright things, especially the moon. As it gets more and more towards full, the moon can get very bright, and that it won't hurt your eye, it won't damage your eye.
I don't know, man.
But when you look into it, sometimes a full moon or close to full moon can be so bright that it's like, that's really bright.
Slightly painful at times.
It can be painful at times, absolutely. So you can get a neutral density filter. We do sell them. I don't know if we have them up online or not, but if we don't, you can contact again through the Amazon.com Explore Scientific store, because this is an Amazon broadcast that's going out all over the place. So I can't say where else to go to find us. So it screws in there and cuts down. Generally, they come in like a 0.9, so it cuts down a whole bunch of light, so you don't get overwhelmed by the brightness. Obviously, the eyepiece goes in there. So let's talk real quick about how this telescope works. This telescope has an opening. Right here, the light comes in, comes down unchanged. Right here is a curved mirror. Light hits the mirror, starts going off at an angle. All that starts coming to get together in a point. And at that point where it comes together is called the focal plane. And that's where you use the eyepiece and the focuser to focus inside out, or inside, in and out, to find the perfect focus for your eye. When viewing the moon, I put it in my star diagonal so I can switch eyepieces on the fly. Great idea. If you have an 1.25 inch diagonal, you can put in an 1.25 inch neutral density filter, or if you have a 2-inch diagonal, you can put in a 2-inch neutral density filter. Obviously, the 2-inch neutral density filter is going to cost you more than the standard than the traditional 1.25 inch eyepieces. So if you're out there, just join us here on Amazon Live. Click that follow button. We would love to pick up a follow from you. And again, we've picked up Oculus today. Again, we can't say how much we appreciate you because you're sharing your time with us, and we truly do appreciate that very much. So, got another question from Tariq with Mac. I don't need neutral density because the Mac takes care of brightness perfectly. Yes, when Tariq says Macs, he means Maxitov Cassegrain telescopes, and they have an inherently long focal length which reduces the brightness of light. Tariq, I want to use a refractor for solar imaging, and I want to stop down the aperture. I prefer something done by manufacturer than DIY, and for HI, I won't use a neutral density filter. Tariq, as long as you're using A solar safe filter, you don't need to stop it down any at all. It's not required. And you can't stop down the sun enough to be able to photograph it without a safe neutral density filter, because when you just keep stopping it down, you're just going to create a pinpoint of incredibly bright light that you're never going to be able to take a picture of the surface of the sun with. So if you're using something like our sun catcher solar filters, and Tariq, I know you've seen us talk about this before. The sun catcher, large aperture solar filter, is a 1,000 Oaks mylar film that reflects 99 point whatever, nearly all the sunlight that's hitting it, and it has some film in there also that gives it a pleasing yellow, orangish color, depending on how your eyes look at it. That allows you to see the visible surface of the sun. You're going to see sunspots. It does not allow you to see loops and prominences and things like that, but it does let you see sunspots. And by the way,
if you try to cut the sun on after it's got into your telescope, all you're doing is concentrating that energy, and it's going to, like a laser, go straight through your head and out the back of your skull.
It may not be that bad, but it's not. It's going to poke your eye out. It will burn. It will instantly etch your retina and cornea. It'll be brutal, and it won't ever go away. My Mac 127 burns my eyes on a full moon, Osmosis 007. I'll tell you what, it all depends on what kind of Mac you use and how long it is, how long the focal length is. But yeah, 120, big Macs collect like a 152 Mac or a 180 millimeter Maxitop Cassegrain is concentrating a whole bunch of light, even though it may be a focal length of 1900 millimeters or 2200 millimeters, is still uber bright. What's crazy is the moon's color is like, a couple-year-old black asphalt, not quite black, and it still, Paul, reflects that much electricity.
So I think
Tariq
energy was talking about HA filters.
Okay, for HA,
Helium
it's a
alpha?
completely different story. That's what he's saying. Yes, you're going to have to consult your HA filter provider for that on how much, what they need to stop down. I know that I've used both over the weekend. Went to a star party Friday night outside of a bar. Had a great time. Multiple hundreds of people. Looked through our telescopes. We had a quark, I think it's a Daystar quark energy rejection filter that was really nice. People were in a low power view of the sun, looking at the sunspots. And we also had a hydrogen alpha double stack. The guy that owns that, Tyler, could not get the tuning exactly right, so he took the double stack off and went with it's like a 70 millimeter telescope. It was not a big telescope, but provides some really awesome views of the hydrogen alpha region. It wasn't very active. There wasn't much to see. Although, right now, folks, there are a ton of sunspots. If you've not gotten into solar viewing, you need to do that. And one really quick, inexpensive yet safe way is with a Suncatcher large aperture solar filter. It comes already assembled in this cardboard case.
And this is for visual.
Yes.
You can't see hydrogen alpha with your naked eye.
This is for straight white light, right?
Yeah.
We color it yellow so it looks pleasing because it's not just it's not just white light. The quark that we were looking at does show white light. So this system, you can order one that fits your telescope. Osmosis says the moon is totally underappreciated. So much fun following the Terminator shadows in craters. Absolutely, that's the fun part of watching the moon, is following the Terminator across the face of the moon as it works its way up to full, and then as it goes away from full. That is an awesome thing to watch. What I like is, hello Kent and all, from Mike Overacker. Hey Mike, thanks for answering that question for me. Truly appreciate it. And you answered it thoroughly, it appeared. So thank you very much, Mike. Referring to
what question?
Mike had has motorized our 20-inch Dobsonian telescope.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a customer who has bought one and was wanting to put setting circles on it so he would be able to use it as a push-to and get it in the right spot. Mike gave him a lot of information that I didn't have because Mike had measured it and figured it out by measuring it. So that was a very helpful piece of information that I have now written down and have it in my documentation sheet as well. Again, thank you very much, Mike, for that. If you haven't started solar viewing, you need to start. As I said, the sun catcher, fantastic way to watch that to watch the solar viewing, to watch sunspots. There's a bunch. We counted on Friday night 22 sunspots, and that was at low power. There's a bunch of sunspots on the surface of the sun right now, and going to be some. As we go through the next 1.5 to 2 years, we're going to be going to solar maximum. The sun goes through an 11-year cycle of whole bunch of sunspots, not very many or no sunspots. So we went for 1.5 or 2 years without very many sunspots or no sunspots at all. Now we're coming out of solar minimum, working our way up to solar maximum. We'll have tons and tons and tons of sunspots, and they'll get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they'll taper off and go back down to none, and that's the solar cycle. It's an 11-year progression of sunspots. So awesome to watch sunspots. What I like about sunspots is it changes. So sunspots get bigger, they grow, they change shape. You'll be watching a spot and it'll look sort of funny. You can see just something going on, and then you notice, well, that's getting a sunspot, and it grows and grows and grows, and suddenly you can see the sunspot through your solar safe filter. These go right here, okay? Right here is where this kind of solar safe filter goes. It does not go here with the sun pushing down through the telescope. If you do that, you're going to instantly burn a hole through the filter material, and that unfiltered sunlight that is super high charge, it might as well be a laser, is going to be a long distance finger poke. And here comes some video from Scott Roberts proving what's going to happen to your eyeball.
So it's a beautiful sunny day, and we have our refractor out, and I've got my eclipse glasses on, and I've got my safe solar filter. Of course, the eclipse is not here yet, but I wanted to take a few minutes just to show you some things about solar filter safety. The filters that we use is the Thousand Oaks material. It is rated to the highest ISO standards. And actually independently tested by us as well. So just to make sure that those standards are met. So if you're going to use a telescope to look at the partial phases, and let me underline partial phases to you. You use eclipse glasses to observe the sun in partial phases when it's in total. If you're going to be on the path of totality, you can take the glasses off, and only during that time, which is going to be roughly 2 minutes this time on August 21st, only during that time can you directly look up at where the sun is, because it's completely blocked out. You'll see the corona, you'll see, lots of really cool effects they'll leave you speechless. But during all the partial phases, you have to have safe solar filtration. So how do you do it properly? Let me show you. First off, let's show you what you shouldn't do. What you shouldn't do is put on eclipse glasses and look through the telescope that's unfiltered. And I'll show you exactly why here. We're going to point the telescope directly at the sun. And right now, we have sunlight coming right through the eyepiece. I can turn that up a little bit. If you use solar glasses and look right at the filter material, you see it's already burning. It's burning a hole right through the solar filter material. That is how powerful a telescope is. So this is definitely something you don't want to do. You can now see that there is a hole through there, and that could be your eye. So this is what can happen if you think that you can use eclipse glasses to look through unfiltered telescopes or binoculars. If you do that, the sun's energy is going to burn right through the filter and burn right into your eye. So if you're going to use a telescope or a pair of binoculars to watch the partial phases of a total eclipse, or just to observe the sun to look for sunspots or something like that, make sure that you are using an over-the-lens solar filter that has the proper ISO safety rating and all of that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this filter on. It's you can see how snugly it's fitting here. This is not about to come off, but you know, if you have a loose-fitting filter, use tape. Do anything that you can to make sure that the filter is not going to come off. And then the other thing is too is that finder scopes, optical finder scopes are like little telescopes, and they need to be filtered as well. In this case, I just have a red dot finder. There is no magnifying power to it, so I'm not going to use it to sight the sun in. The way I'm going to sight in the sun is literally I'm going to look down at the shadow and align the scope up so I'm getting the smallest shadow possible of the telescope as it's hitting the ground. And now I can safely look at the sun in comfort and look at sunspots, and if we have partial phases going on in the eclipse, I'll see them all.
And if that doesn't horrify you, thinking about what that's going to do to your Mark 1R or your Mark 1L eyeball, it horrifies me to think about actually having that happen to an eyeball. It would not be fun. Boy. Question or comment from Osmosis 007. Scott, I'm guessing, is going as a space pirate for Halloween this year. You know, I matey. You know, with that, with those burned solar glasses on, yeah. And here's another one. I never joke with the sun in our area. The sun is like above our heads a few centimeters. Tariq, as I said, who lives in the UAE. Yes, you know, I have a friend that lived here getting his doctorate in electrical engineering, works for outside of Baghdad, and I see some of the temperatures there, and I'm just like, oof. And yeah, I know it's a dry heat, but so is an oven, and it cooks meat. So you know, just that kind of heat is just brutal. So I can imagine being that, you know, being in that kind of part of the world where that sun is just so intense. Egon, yikes, Scott. Yes, indeed. It's, you know, and he actually did that because experienced observers actually called him and asked him, is it okay if I do this? He was like, no. But they just, you know, even though they're experienced, they were smart enough, and this is a key thing that it goes from me, it goes from everybody. You have to be smart enough to know what you don't know. And at some point, when you start playing with your vision, you would get put your eye out. Tariq, if you came here, it'll be much more reddish too. Absolutely, but you know, sunscreen is SPF 50. I put it on all the time. Yeah. I wasn't going to be out, so I was out for an hour and a half, maybe that long picking. I wasn't worried about my arms. However, my son, I always wear a cap. I umpire youth baseball. I'm always out there with a cap, or the caps I wear might have the mesh in the back, but that's filtered sunlight. It doesn't burn, but you know, it doesn't hurt. It's just got a little bit more sun right here than it's used to.
To visit Tariq, you might need an SPF 2000. Or
you can buy some of these Habit Brain shirts that have, this is actually a SPF 40 sunscreen shirt. Buy a long sleeve shirt and wear a straw cap, and you know, you're still going to get, your skin's still going to have to get used to the reflective light.
I went swimming at the lake for like 2 hours and didn't get any sun at all with no sunscreen.
Well, that must be some good genetics coming out in you, Paul, because I most assuredly this is, I mean, I'm out every weekend. That's with sunscreen, right? So I'm not worried about my arms, but I didn't think about tops of my ears and my head. So sunburned a little bit, not bad.
Egon burned a hole in his shirt once.
With a telescope. I have done that. I was going to do some solar viewing, and I was using the finder scope to line it up, and took the lens cap off, and we were at a public outreach. Somebody asked me a question, and I was using a Schmidt-Cassegrain 8-inch telescope, and there's a hole in the back, and I always just plug it with an old black film canister. And I was sitting there, I started going, it smells like burning plastic. I turned around, and I couldn't find it. And then I saw a sun projected on the ground and went, uh-oh, and it just melted that black film canister, just gone to bits. And yeah, I can imagine, being able to set your clothes on fire or something like that and not realize that if it was a baggy shirt like this, it's, not touching your skin. And yeah, don't want that. So anyway, how the sun catcher works.
That we've been asked here about the shirts.
What's the question? What, Paul?
Look at the screen.
Does Explorer sell the 50 FPS shirts? We do not, Egon.
We have a link to them in our Amazon carousel.
I've thought about buying some because I have a source. And in fact, Tyler and I are getting ready to order some that we're going to take and have Explorer Scientific logos put on them. Yeah, but they're not Explorer. We're going to get the Explorer Scientific logo right here, I think. We might get them on the pocket. We'll go see what the embroiderer says we can do.
I prefer Tommy Bahama myself.
I like these shirts. They're vented in the back, variety pack of colors. The problem is, Egon, that, carrying inventory of every size and every color gets to be pretty expensive, and then they don't move, and then, they get grabbed for somebody needs a shirt for a broadcast, and they don't go back, and they don't come out of inventory, and it just becomes,
okay.
Yeah. So
Tommy Bahama.
But
you start
what?
doing the Tommy Bahama shirts, and I'll start wearing them.
If you're interested in getting one of these shirts with an Explorer Scientific logo, we'll have a better idea of cost. Probably middle of next week or something like that would be my guess. So, finishing up about the solar filters. How does this
how
work?
he just ignores me?
How do you make, sir?
Said you just ignore me.
How did I ignore you?
I told you, Tommy Bahama. Get the Tommy Bahama shirts.
Tammy Bahami. Go buy them.
I'll wear them.
Talk Rob into it. So, these comes with 4 of these triangular pieces right here. If I have 4 pieces of double-sided tape, you'll pull one side of the cover off, stick it down, put your square there, put your triangle there, square. Put your triangle there, triangle there, triangle there.
Make sure that thing is on tight.
And then you're going to cut these to fit. And how I would do it is take the dew shield and press it down really hard so it makes a little mark. And then cut inside of that mark, right? Because you can always cut more off. But if you get it too loose and it blows off, you don't want to use it, because we can sell you more of these things, no problem, but you want to proceed slowly. You want this to be a tight fit like in the video Scott had. He had to work to get that on there to get it to stay on. Why? Because you don't want somebody to walk by and just touch and it come off. You don't want a big old gust of wind to blow it off. You got to have this thing on tight all the time so it won't come off. I have a question coming up here. Hey, there's Dr. Daniel Barth.
Hey.
During my solar outreach program, go get a mic. Mic him up, please. During my solar outreach programs, I have 6 to 10 solar telescopes.
I can get
okay. Yeah, you're greenish today. And constantly announce that these telescopes are special and make the people repeat it back to me so I know that they know. Mike, I do the same thing. The first thing I do is say, if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, you want to look at the sun? No, don't do it unless they seem like they really, really, really know what they're doing. And even then, Daniel, this is Dr. Daniel Barth.
Hi, guys.
He has the social media blast for How Do You Know?
How do you know?
And he's talking about planetary nebula.
Planetary nebula
today. So
I always told folks to put their hand over the eyepiece, and if you go, ow, or the light's really intense, then don't put your face there.
But if you see people, but we'll be out doing it, and there'll be people after people, person after person do it, and then somebody will come by and they'll go, no, I don't want to. And why not? It's fine. It's perfect. I said, no, I'm not going to look at the sun. And although they can see 10 people before them, and 10 people after them say no, they still won't do it. Osmosis 007. Since I can never catch the astrophotography segments, is there an
Photography camera.
Thank you for reading. I've lost my ability.
Come on,
with
Ken.
A cell phone. I will tell you, you can use your cell phone for astrophotography. However, 2 caveats here.
Step in a little bit more.
Sure. 2 caveats. First of all, things that are really bright and impressive, like the moon, work best. You need to have the latest model cell phone to have it sensitive enough to detect this. And a lot of people try this handheld. I want to take a picture. It's hard, but it's doable. I teach my students to do it. But if you've got a tracking system, and Explorer sells a mount to affix your camera to your eyepiece, and you can attach it. And if you've got a tracking mount, you can go ahead, but it's going to be like 30 years ago because you can't stack frames. You just got to get one long tracked exposure.
There's actually programs out there you can download on like an iPhone, I know, that you can stack in your iPhone that'll actually do it in the iPhone.
Technology changes so quickly.
It does. Because that's what's happening. I can take a 4 or 5 second exposure with my iPhone.
Right.
And it's not blurry or anything because it's actually taking a whole bunch of series of pictures and stacking them up.
Right.
And the ones that are out of alignment, it just rejects and they're gone.
Right.
Now, our friend Mike Wiesner, he takes pictures of galaxies and nebula all the time with a smartphone.
There's this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. You posted that on the Facebook.
Yeah,
hey, Paul, zoom in here.
I don't know if you can zoom in here and see this.
You can put it down there on top of the sun catcher.
Right there?
Yeah.
Not using the camera on the cell phone, just a camera that uses Bluetooth to send the images to your phone.
Left.
We do not. It's not in focus.
Up and left. There you go.
There you go.
Back up just a touch.
Yeah, I'll
there it is.
I'll give Kent a copy of that to post.
Yeah,
and
this is
a single exposure, handheld, no guiding, and no processing.
It's nice and bright. Did you handheld this at the eyepiece?
Handheld at the eyepiece.
Yeah, and how many did you have to shoot to get this?
About 8.
Yeah. Okay.
And I shot 8, and I kept adjusting the parameters.
Right.
You go to Pro Mode so you can make the focus manual so you can control it, and you have to keep tweaking and trying. And then when you're done for the evening, the next morning I went through and I ripped them down and said this is the best one.
Yeah.
But I think it turned out quite nice.
Osmosis, it's beautiful and blows up well. Hi,
so
Paul.
I have an answer to this question. The Sony a7 III and up, and the a7 II will send, using their program on your phone, they will send the image to your phone. However, you only get the JPEG. You do not get the
raw.
You don't get the raw or the TIFF or whatever. I know Nikons and cameras, Nikon and Canons will do the same thing.
Right.
But they only send the JPEG.
They're sending the low quality JPEG. They're not sending the high res one. I don't know of any. I don't do a lot right now. I'm not doing any astrophotography. That'd be a question for Tyler. Go find Tyler, please.
Just telling him what to do now.
Go find Tyler real quick. And we'll
Dr.
ask Tyler
Barth,
that question because he'll know.
Kent Marts' slave.
So Dr.
already.
Barth works for the university, and a right good one too, sir. Then he works at the University of Arkansas, Department of Education. He teaches the teaching students how to teach astronomy. And I'll tell you what, Dr. Barth is full of brilliant ideas. Planetary nebula are made up of planetary gears. Ha 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 ha, Mike Overacker. Some people won't get that one.
I don't get it.
That one's funny.
I don't get it at all.
Shake the bush, boss.
Yeah.
Shake the bush.
Planetary gears, like in a transmission or a internal power transmission system. Planetary gears, they're a gear that's inside of another gear. Come on, join the club, buddy.
What is?
So
Where'd the question go?
the question is, there you go.
Not using a camera on the cell phone, just a camera that uses Bluetooth to send images to your phone.
So do you know of
Need a
Astro
little bit
cameras that are there any Astro cameras that have Bluetooth that sends the pictures to your phone?
No,
I don't think so.
they're all wired connections, unfortunate,
Yeah. And the reason is?
because it's a wired connection.
No, but why, Dr. D?
Well, the
Join us on the
the
line.
wired connection would
He's
be
leaving now.
a lot faster.
And
you
stable.
Have to, and more
Get out,
stable.
Tyler.
There are DSLRs with Bluetooth, and there are DSLRs with options where they will, it's not Bluetooth, it's a different kind of wireless transmission, and they will send a picture to whatever off, camera storage you want to. But if you're using a DSLR, then you can just take the little card, the memory card, and transfer it anywhere. If you're talking about a straight astrophotography camera like the CCD cameras that are just designed for astrophotography, they're really designed to hardwire port into a computer, and that's about it.
Because there's so much data. I mean, you're talking about 20, 30, 40 megabytes of pictures sometimes.
Phones today are so spectacular that I wouldn't doubt that there would be some way that you could take that wired connection and get an adapter and put it right into your phone.
Okay, thanks for the answer. Thinking I enjoy visual but would like to share some images. I work on cars, another hobby I have, and I have a diagnostic scope that sends to my phone. Neat as heck. Yeah, things like that. I know there's I've seen like at auto parts stores where they plug in the module to do diagnostics, and you have the app. Those are awesome. I have a borescope, or a little camera with a 30-foot lead that you can run down into stuff and use. When I was doing welding, we checked inside of pipes for sugaring on stainless steel.
Thing is,
with an app, low res.
Right, low res, low data rate transmission. And they're usually for applications where dropping out a little bit here or there isn't a problem. But transmitting an astrophotographical image, that would ruin the image. So you need some kind of a hard connection.
Because those, if I remember correctly, those aren't packet transmissions like the internet uses.
They are not.
Those are stream.
FTP.
Right.
FTP.
So,
there you go.
So it's a file and it sends the whole file.
Correct.
Whereas over the internet, it's sending, the whole design of the internet was by the military was really straightforward and simple. So if this node
very redundant.
got blown out and we're sending a message to this, we're going to break it up in packets from the Pentagon, or this would be the octagon, from the octagon, and we're going to send a message over here to this station, and we're going to send in a bunch of packets, and it's going to go all different directions and end up there, and then reassemble at the end. And so for that method of Bluetooth just doesn't do that.
No.
And when the camera sends a file to your hard drive, it just sends that file with zeros and ones and zeros and ones. It's not sending packets.
No.
The whole idea of the internet was so if a nuclear launch message went out, they could figure out what the message was, right?
Even if pieces of the network dropped
Yeah,
out.
that's correct. All right, so we got to be careful what we say here. So you're getting ready to talk about Planetary Nebula in an hour. We can't say where or what because we're on Amazon.com.
Do we have this on our carousel?
No, we don't. Do we have Star Mentor up?
Let me see.
The new book? It's a brand new book. I don't think. Talk about it because we
There
can
it
get.
is.
There
We've
It is.
got
It's
it
on the
up.
carousel.
There, pull the book up. Talk about it real quick.
Got it up on the carousel.
Paul's giving us to cut it off, but we're going to ignore him for a minute.
That's right. Okay,
I'm
here
used
we
to
are,
it.
folks. Star Mentor.
Here, set that on top of that.
We've been
Kent, you're his microphone.
I know it. Hang on.
We've been talking about this for weeks, folks. This has been more than a year in the writing, and it's been a long process getting out. But I received my copy from the publisher this week, and it's all there. 40 plus years. This is my 45th year in education. So, and most of those teaching astronomy and physics, and I put it all into here for you folks. The idea, there's so many people with new equipment that don't know how to use it. They want a mentor. They want somebody to guide them. And there's other people like Kent who are really experienced, and people are asking them, teach me, Kent, teach me, show me the light. And for both the people who want to share their knowledge and the people who are isolated, that is, out of the astronomical community, there's not a club in your town, this is for you. There's more than 50 activities here for you, and they ramp up from easy to more difficult. They will teach you how to set up your telescope, how to track, how to find objects, learn the sky. And this book has this has like 180 illustrations.
Here, let me just.
And many of them are in color. And it's just lavishly illustrated.
So it just starts at the basics and works your way through.
Works your way up.
And works your way up. Yeah.
And there's some cloudy night projects here.
Right there's one. I'm trying not to break the back of the book right off the bat.
Oh, go ahead. That's my handle, and pass it around so people can
So you can see right there how to use
modeling clay.
Modeling clay to make your own craters.
The modeled surface of the moon.
Right.
So that when you get out with your telescope, you've now got a better idea of what you're looking at.
And because of the different colors, you can figure out what happened when.
That's right.
And you can actually start seeing, maybe not knowing the ages, but you get the idea these are younger than those because this has ejecta on top of them.
And how many times, Ken, have you had people come up to a telescope when you're at an outreach event and say, now what am I looking at?
Yeah, the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
and
craters.
When you bring a little more knowledge to the eyepiece, you take a lot more value away from it. And this is a life's work here, folks.
Yeah.
This is 40 years of teaching people how to use telescopes, how to do astronomy, and all the basics, all the fundamentals, and it's here for you in one volume.
I have not read it, but knowing Dr. D and seeing his other offerings, this is worth $31.88 over in the carousel right now.
Because the list price is $35, so that's a great deal.
Uh-oh. Noah, don't tell the book owner that we're cutting his deal.
No, I
know. Hey, sell. Yeah.
Folks, I'm the author, not the vendor.
Right.
So whoever is buying these, it's great, and thank you. But I already sold the book to Springer. So when you buy this and take it out and use it, mostly what you're doing is helping me advance the cause of amateur astronomy, build my brand, and get more products out there. I'm working on a new book called Begin with Binoculars.
Yeah.
And that's my project for this year. And I'm so thrilled with this. This came out.
Have you taken out the Tetons?
Have I?
Taking out the new Teton binoculars?
No,
Probably
I have not.
So
No.
this is not a self-published book.
No, it is not.
This is a publishing house.
Springer Verlag. Springer is a European company based in Germany, and they have offices around the world. And this is part of the Patrick Moore Practical Astronomy series. For those of you who are familiar with astronomy outreach, Sir Patrick Moore was the British Carl Sagan. I think I can say that.
Yeah.
He was a very popular popularizer of science and advocate.
What show
for
did
astronomy.
he have? He had a show. What was his show?
It was in the UK for years, for decades. The later years, it came over here for a while before he passed.
I remember he had a show. I can't remember what. I've seen his shows before.
So
Springer
I
publishes.
propose that if someone buys the book and has seen you on here, they may contact us, and we might be able to set it up to where you can autograph it for them.
If
they'd have to send it here and we send it back, but we
as
can
long
arrange
as Scott and company are good with it, anybody is.
It'll cost shipping both ways.
Yeah. Basically, send it with a self-addressed stamped envelope.
But even more,
right? So I can sign it, put it back in the envelope, drop it in the post for you, and give me some hint about what you'd like, because I have kind of a strange sense of humor. How I would sign a book for Scott or for Kent might be completely different from how you'd like yours signed.
Yes.
But I would
we
be happy
Mike
to sign any
Overrecord.
copy.
He's asking that.
Yeah, so that's how we could do it. We have them here. If you order one, hey, Noah, are those FBA or FBS right now?
Books are not sold by us.
Okay, not sold by us at all.
I wouldn't know what
So we would have to.
You'd have to send it to us.
Yeah, you have to buy it, get it, mail it to us, and then we'll mail it back to you. We can
Send it
work
to
that
the
out.
Explorer
And
store here in
Talk,
Springfield.
talk to one of us.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
since I'm
All
on
customer service.
since I'm on Amazon, I have to say it this way.
Okay.
Go to Amazon.com to the Explore Scientific Store on Amazon.com. Click Contact Seller. Send Noah a message, and Noah will tell you how to go about getting
Absolutely.
the book here and get it back. Because we can't just have a book just appear.
No.
Yeah, we get so much mail in boxes. We don't want that. So also, if you do buy it here on Amazon Live, get the book, read the book, come back, and give it a review.
Please.
That goes for any product you buy here on Amazon
That's so important.
Live. Reviews
So
are
important.
hugely important. Obviously, you know, we like good reviews. We
But
can't, you know, but
Reviews
honest
where
reviews.
People aren't entirely happy. Helps us improve products.
Correct.
And helps me as an author improve my product. Education and outreach is my product. And when I hear from people who are using my stuff and my work and my activities, and they say, "Oh, Doc, what about this?" and I saw this and I didn't understand it, or I saw this and what's the next step? And anyone who has questions reading the book is welcome to contact me. I don't know, is it kosher to give out an email on here?
No, we can't
No,
do
we
it.
can't.
So
Go to the,
contact
Amazon
information
bots.
for me is actually in the book.
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazon bots are really, really finicky, and they
Okay.
don't care, and so they'll kick people off.
we-
We
no,
have
don't,
products.
We don't want you. We don't
We
want
can't
Yeah.
send we can't send people off of the website
Right.
to contact us.
Let me
or
give a
anything
good
else.
example.
Contact for me is in the book. So you
Yeah.
buy
Let
the
me
book.
give a good example. We have. It's so weird. We have products that are taken off of Amazon from time to time because they say we are selling pesticides.
Yeah, there's
So what? Pesticides?
Yes.
telescopes. Oh,
Yeah.
can't sell it because it's a
I've
pesticide.
zapped an ant with a magnifying glass in my day when I was 10 or 11, but
Science.
Yeah.
that's not. I don't know
So-
if that's pesticide.
That's why we have to be so careful on
Yeah.
Amazon
Yes, of course
because
you
it's the algorithms
And you
don't care. They have no
argue-
feelings.
No, and it's very nice of them to host us, and
Yeah.
we want to be a good guest and follow their rules.
And you can't argue with an algorithm.
Nope.
There's no one to talk to. All right, so run over a little bit. I'm glad you came in so we show you a book. Get the book, read it. You're going to learn something that's going to help you in your outreach. 100% guaranteed. It's well thought out. As I said, all the education students at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville take a Dr. Barth class or two, learning how to teach astronomy to whatever age group that they're in.
I
And-
train mostly K-8 educators, but
Okay.
occasionally people who teach older kids.
Right. So you will learn something, and you will up your outreach game. Dr. Barth talked about, building the brand. Look, as amateur astronomers, our brand is amateur astronomy.
It absolutely
right?
is.
And this will help you build the brand of amateur astronomy right there.
And I've always said, Kent, and you know this is true. The telescope is a party in a box.
Oh yeah.
You go set up your telescope in your driveway, and you're looking at the moon. You're looking at Saturn. You're going to draw a crowd. People will literally pull their cars over coming down your street. Is that a telescope? Can I have a go? And they come up. Will you teach me? What am I looking at? How can I see this? Is this different? What's the magnification?
So
immediately the questions start bubbling out.
We had a couple, man and woman, that came down from Springfield.
Sure.
Close to Springfield. Up close. It doesn't
Missouri.
matter. Missouri. And they knew the store was here, and their anniversary was Friday, and she wanted to come down and buy her husband. He was interested in astronomy, and she wanted to buy a telescope and a mount, and what are they going to need, and getting their budget together. And I said, oh, well, hey, we're going to have NWA Space, the nonprofit I'm on with Dr. Barth, we're going to have observing at a bar in downtown Bentonville, Arkansas, and you can go eat at Wright's Barbecue and come on by. And she's like, yeah, we'll do that. So they went to the Walmart Museum, and I don't think they went to Crystal Bridges, but then they showed up and looked at the sun, and she was buying it for her husband, right? She is
Look got set, didn't it?
deep and hard, brother. She was like, oh my gosh, that's this. And we were talking about it, then the moon came up, and we got the 16-inch knob out and put it on the moon. And she messaged me on Saturday going, okay, that star party you're talking about in Arizona, when is it? Because we're going to come, right? She was hooked, and had just been, and she was sort of interested, but she left there inspired by looking through a couple of telescopes. And we had people literally who were driving down the road. It's in a residential / bar industrial area, and there are people who would, you'd see them looking, and they'd go down and park and come walking back. People ride. It's a bicycle. Can't call it a biker's bar because it's a cycler's
bar.
It's a cycler's bar and restaurant. Really good food, and called the Meteor Cafe. They'd go riding back, and you'd see them pull a U-turn and come back.
Yep.
And it was awesome. It was just absolutely awesome.
Yep.
We were there until midnight.
I'm sure.
Pekka says hi, by the way.
Who does?
Pekka.
Hey, Pekka, how are you?
There's Pekka.
There. Howdy, Kent and Daniel. Howdies. Howdy's back at you, Pekka. For those of you who have not maybe been seeing the broadcast before, this is a global audience. Today we've had, I know people from
Dubai? Not Dubai.
Sweden.
UAE.
Not Dubai. UAE, Sweden, all over the United States. I haven't seen anybody I know from anywhere else, but a truly global audience, and this is the cool part about it. All right, last comment, then we're going to have to go.
Buy
Pekka.
Dr. Barth's books immediately. If he could send them private post, not company, that way I would skip the unnecessary taxes.
Pekka, we'll talk.
We'll talk. We got you, buddy. We'll fix you up.
Oh my
But we'll
gosh.
talk off the show. And I'm gonna address your other question you emailed me about today on my show later, so that'll be fun.
All right.
But this, you know what? I'll be willing to put it out there, hands down. This is going to be the best guide to introductory astronomy you've ever seen. You want to, people who already own a telescope, and the fatigue sets in after, what do I do now? Mm-hmm. Here you go. Somebody comes up and says, oh, but I have this telescope, and now my neighbor's 12-year-old kid is asking me to teach him. What do I do? Here you go. Somebody says, oh, we have a club. We want activities to do on our outreach. Here you go. You're a school teacher, and you're planning activities that will engage hands and minds, both in the classroom and out under the dark sky. I wrote this for you. I wrote it for y'all.
We got to go. Okay. We have to get out of here. Osmosis 007, I know I saw a message pop up. We've got to go. No time to answer it because we got to get the studio reset for Dr. Dita.
There you go.
To get going here at 4 o'clock. So ask next time if you get on, and we will go from there. Everyone, thank you very much for sharing your time with us because it's an honor to see how many, it truly is, how many people are willing to give us their time to participate in How Do You Know, in Global Star Party, in First Light Chronicles, On the Wing,
and
Focus on
Amazon
Astrophotography, and on Amazon Live. We truly appreciate your time because you know what? Our brand is Amateur Astronomy. You're part of our brand. We're part of Amateur Astronomy. Everybody that gets into it helps everybody else.
That's right.
With that, on behalf of everybody else here at Explore Scientific and Dr. Barth, as well as Paul Newton, the disembodied voice. He's not disemboweled anymore. And hey, Noah, wave to the camera. Here's what it looked like today. He waved with his right hand today, not his left. And we're going to get out of here.
He has much more hair than you. He has much more hair than you.
He does, but I have a lot of hair. I just get a burr every 3 weeks.
All right. Bye.
Out of here. Bye.
Bye.